Hello everyone and welcome back to IELTS MasterPod. I'm Emma.
And I'm Daniel. Today's episode is packed with insights to help you ace your IELTS speaking test. We're covering some common topics that can appear in all three parts of the test: shopping, films, and important events.
That's right, Daniel. We'll take you through an example IELTS speaking test with a candidate named Mia. Plus, we've added vocabulary and phrases to help you sound more natural and confident.
Before we jump into the dialogue, let's quickly review the structure of the IELTS speaking test for any new listeners.
The speaking test is divided into 3 parts. Part 1, Introduction and Interview. You'll answer general questions about yourself, such as your hobbies, work, or studies. Part 2, The Long Turn. You'll speak for 1-2 minutes on a specific topic after 1 minute of preparation. Part 3, Discussion. The examiner will ask more abstract and in-depth questions related to the topic from Part 2.
Now, let's introduce some key vocabulary for today's topics: shopping, films, and important events.
First, we have retail therapy.
This refers to shopping to improve your mood or relieve stress. For example, after a tough week, I indulge in some retail therapy at the mall.
Next is window shopping.
This means browsing items in stores without intending to buy anything. For instance, I enjoy window shopping to see the latest trends.
Another useful term is blockbuster.
This describes a very successful and popular film. For example, the latest superhero movie is a real blockbuster.
Then there's sentimental value.
This refers to the emotional significance of an object, often more than its monetary value. For example, my grandmother's ring has great sentimental value to me.
How about milestone?
A milestone is a significant event or achievement in someone's life. For example, graduating from university was a major milestone for me.
Lastly, we have cultural heritage.
This refers to the traditions, customs, and artifacts that are important to a culture. For example, national celebrations often reflect a country's cultural heritage.
Great! Let's now hear how Mia handles her IELTS speaking test. In Part 1, Mia answers questions about herself, shopping, and films.
Good morning. My name is Sarah, and I'll be your examiner today. Can you tell me your full name, please?
Good morning, my name is Mia Anderson.
Thank you, Mia. Are you a student or do you work now?
I'm currently a university student studying business administration.
Why did you choose this course?
I chose this course because I've always been interested in understanding how businesses operate and how they adapt to changing markets.
Talk about your daily routine.
My day usually starts early with a morning jog, followed by classes and group projects. In the evening, I spend time reviewing my notes and relaxing with a good book or movie.
Is there anything about your course you would like to change?
Yes, I'd like more opportunities for hands-on experience, like internships or case studies, to apply what we learn in class.
Who does most of the shopping in your household?
My mom does most of the shopping, especially for groceries, but I help out with buying clothes or electronics.
What type of shopping do you like?
I enjoy online shopping because it's convenient and I can compare prices easily.
Is shopping a popular activity in your country?
Yes, shopping is very popular, especially in urban areas where malls and markets are common. Many people see it as a leisure activity.
What type of shops does teenagers like the best in your country?
Teenagers here love clothing stores and tech shops because they're always looking for trendy outfits or the latest gadgets.
How often do you go to the cinema?
I go to the cinema about once a month, usually to watch a new blockbuster with friends.
What type of films do you like best?
I love action and adventure films because they're exciting and often have amazing special effects.
What type of films don't you like?
I'm not a fan of horror films. I find them too intense and unsettling.
In Part 2, Mia talks about an important event in her life.
describe an important event in your life, you should say when it happened, who you were with, what happened, and explain why you feel it was important.
An important event in my life was my high school graduation, which took place 3 years ago in June. It's a day I'll never forget because it was such a significant milestone for me. The ceremony was held in our school auditorium, a place where I had spent so many memorable moments during my high school years. I was surrounded by my family, friends, and teachers, all of whom played an important role in my journey. The atmosphere was full of excitement, but I also felt a bit nervous as I waited for my turn to walk across the stage. I remember sitting in my seat, wearing my graduation gown and cap, listening to speeches from our principal and valedictorian. Their words were inspiring and reminded us of all the challenges we had overcome together. When my name was called, I walked across the stage to receive my diploma. Seeing my parents' proud smiles in the audience was an unforgettable moment. It made me feel that all the late nights of studying and hard work had paid off. After the ceremony, there was a lot of picture taking with friends and teachers, capturing the joy and bittersweet feeling of saying goodbye. Later that evening, my family hosted a small celebration at home with close relatives and friends. We shared a delicious meal, reminisced about my school days, and talked about my plans for the future. It was a heartwarming way to end such an emotional day. This event was important to me because it marked the end of one chapter in my life and the beginning of another. It was a turning point that made me reflect on how much I had grown, not just academically, but also as a person. It also reminded me of how many people supported me along the way, from my family to my teachers and friends. Graduation wasn't just about receiving a diploma, it was about celebrating the journey and the people who helped me get there. Looking back, I realized that this milestone taught me the value of perseverance, gratitude, and looking forward to new opportunities with an open mind. It's a memory that continues to inspire me as I take on new challenges in life.
Do you still think about this event often?
Yes, I do. It's a memory that motivates me whenever I face challenges.
And the other people involved remember this event?
Definitely. My parents still talk about how proud they were that day, and my friends and I often reminisce about it.
In part 3, Mia discusses broader topics related to important events.
What days are important in your country?
National holidays like Independence Day and Lunar New Year are very important. They bring people together to celebrate our history and culture.
Why is it important to have national celebrations?
They foster a sense of unity and pride among citizens. They're also a chance to pass down traditions to younger generations.
How is the way your national celebrations are celebrated now different from the past?
In the past, celebrations were simpler and more community-focused. Now, they often include large-scale events like parades and fireworks.
Do you think any new national celebrations will come into being in the future?
Yes. As society evolves, we might see celebrations focused on technology or environmental achievements.
Are there any celebrations from other countries that you celebrate in your country?
Yes, we celebrate Christmas and Halloween, even though they're not traditional here. They've become popular because of globalization. And now you can explore globalization in 3 shows. You can have Spanish shows.
What are the benefits of having events that many people around the world celebrate on the same day?
It creates a sense of global unity and allows people to learn about other cultures.
Let's take a closer look at some of the interesting phrases Mia used in her responses.
Absolutely. First, she mentioned retail therapy. Do you remember how she described it?
Yes, she said she indulges in retail therapy when she feels stressed. It's a great way to describe shopping as a stress reliever.
Definitely. You could say something like, after a long week at work, I enjoy some retail therapy at the mall.
Another phrase Mia used was, Sentimental value. She talked about the necklace her grandmother gave her, emphasizing its emotional importance.
Right, and you can use it in other contexts too, like, this old photo has sentimental value because it reminds me of my childhood.
Good point. Next up, she mentioned milestone when describing her graduation. It's a wonderful way to talk about significant life events.
Exactly. You might say, buying my first home was a milestone in my life.
Then there's cultural heritage. Mia explained how national celebrations reflect her country's traditions and customs.
Yes, it's a fantastic term to use. For example, preserving cultural heritage is important for future generations.
I also liked window shopping. Mia said she enjoys browsing without buying anything.
It's a fun activity. You could say, I went window shopping with my friends to check out the latest trends.
Another term Mia used was blockbuster. She talked about her love for highly successful movies.
You might hear, the latest superhero movie was a real blockbuster. It broke box office records.
And we can't forget national pride. Mia explained how national celebrations inspire pride in her country.
A good example would be, watching the parade on Independence Day fills me with national pride.
Finally, there's globalization. Mia mentioned how worldwide celebrations connect people across borders.
Absolutely. You could say, globalization has made it easier to share cultural traditions with the world.
And don't forget unity and celebrate diversity. Both phrases reflect the importance of coming together and appreciating different cultures.
For example, the festival promoted unity by bringing people from all backgrounds together. Or, we celebrate diversity by learning about traditions from other countries.
These phrases are incredibly versatile and can elevate your answers in the IELTS speaking test.
Now it's time for our Natural Speech Developer segment, where we help you use these phrases naturally.
Let's start with retail therapy. Instead of saying, I shop to feel better, try this.
I indulge in retail therapy whenever I feel stressed or overwhelmed.
Doesn't that sound more expressive?
It does. Next, instead of, it's a special object, say,
This watch holds sentimental value because it was a gift from my father.
Here's another one. Instead of, it was an important event, say,
My graduation was a milestone that marked the beginning of my career.
Let's try cultural heritage. Instead of, it's about my culture, say,
The festival is a celebration of our cultural heritage, showcasing traditional music and dance.
Moving on to window shopping. Instead of, I look around without buying, try this.
I love window shopping on weekends to get inspiration for my wardrobe.
And for blockbuster, instead of, it was a popular movie, say,
The film was a blockbuster that captivated audiences worldwide.
Let's practice national pride. Instead of, I'm proud of my country, say,
The Olympic Games always instill a sense of national pride in me.
For globalization, instead of, people connect internationally, try this.
Globalization has fostered cultural exchange, making it easier to experience traditions from around the world.
And for unity, instead of, people come together, say,
The festival promotes unity by encouraging collaboration between diverse communities.
dot. Lastly, instead of, we appreciate other cultures, say,
By hosting international festivals, we celebrate diversity and build mutual respect.
These subtle changes make your speech sound polished and professional.
Practice these phrases, and they'll become second nature. That's it for today's episode. We hope Mia's example responses and our discussion help you prepare for the IELTS speaking test.
Make sure to practice using today's vocabulary in your own answers. Try forming sentences with phrases like milestone and national pride to build your fluency.
And don't forget to provide specific examples and reasons to support your opinions. This shows the examiner that you can think critically and express yourself clearly.
Thanks for listening to IELTS MasterPod. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe and share it with your friends who are also preparing for the IELTS.
See you next time, and keep practicing every day to reach your goals. Good luck with your preparation.